Hunies, it's Yolz and welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally filming that video I promised you, all things property. Yes, I want to talk about how I bought my first property at the age of 22 back then. I feel so old. Anyway, I don't want to get into too many technical details in this video, so I keep it pretty short and pretty crisp on the gist of how I bought my property. I do talk about the preparation, you know, in terms of credit and that kind of thing, and of course the costs attached to buying my first property. I also didn't want to just get straight into the technical jargon of things, just because I feel that should be a different video where we really delve into buying your first investment property, if it's an investment property, or a home for your family if it's a home for your family. Anyway, let me stop blabbing. Let's get into this video. I hope you do enjoy it. Give it a massive thumbs up if you do. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and of course I am opening the comment section for you to ask away all those property questions that you want to know, so that we can get into the second video with more jam-packed information about all things property. I love you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy this video. Mwah.
Hey there. It's Yolz channel.
So I bought my first property back in 2014, and I bought it because we were renting for years. So my first property was not an investment property. I say my first because like we are in the process of buying a lot more properties, or rather looking for a lot more, myself and my husband. So yeah, bring a little orange all over, but it doesn't matter. The application was fairly easy because I did work at the bank at the time, and I knew after numerous conversations of consulting my banker, I sort of had an idea of what I qualified for and what sort of range I could go for in terms of property price. So I want to give you guys the history of why I bought the property, because it's really important to not just go ahead and buy your own property. We don't have the same background, we don't have the same story. I bought it motivated purely on the fact that we were renting for a very long time. Ever since we actually moved to Cape Town, we never had our own house. In fact, things were bad at some point where we lived in a 4-wall shack, literally like 4 walls, guys, 1-room shack, outside my mom's uncle's place. So we were those people in Cape Town, and that's purely why part of my dream was, the minute I start working, I want to buy my family a home, a big home where we could be comfortable and actually have our own rooms, because for the longest time I didn't have a room. I mean, I had a room when we lived in Mpumalanga, you know. We were okay, we were like your standard middle-class family, but then when we moved to Cape Town, things were really bad. Not bad in the sense of like, I mean, things can be worse. Some people had it really bad, but at least we had family to take us in, family to say, okay, cool, Ninga, you guys can build your little hooky outside of our yard, whatever. And I mean, this is a reality for a lot of South Africans anyway, so it wasn't that bad, and I went to a good school and a good university, so I don't want this to be a self-pity whatever video. But that's why I bought the property. Okay, I really felt in my heart that if there's anything I can do for this woman who raised me, this woman who really taught me so much, and showed me so much strength in the time of our biggest struggle, you know, I want to buy a house for her and my family, which was my mom, obviously, that I'm talking about right now. So in essence, I got my job obviously at Nedbank and started consulting quite a lot at the bank, like from the get-go. I was advised to build up a credit record, and how to do that was not necessarily to go and get an Edgar's account or get an account at any other clothing store so that I can, you know, build up my credit record. That was actually something that they advised against at the bank, and I was part of, you know, the people who was eventually advising other people not to do that, because it's a really bad way of building a track record. You're gonna end up having more debt for the sake of getting debt, you know, and it's a bit of a catch-22. But yeah, you have to build up a credit record in order for you to get your first big credit from the bank. So what I did was get a credit card, and I was advised to get a credit card because I could actually manage it better. What I did from there was make sure that I paid off my credit card every single month. I actually did what is called an APO, an automatic payment order, which is basically like a debit order, so to say. Okay, but the gist of things is I got a credit card which I could control by paying it off every single month, whether or not I used it. Does that make sense? Yes, no. We can get into the details in the next video. So upon getting that, after 3 months, they obviously monitor you, and now you've got a credit record which you can use to apply for a home loan. And there I was, being able to apply, but then I had to take my time, because before you apply for a home loan, you actually need to find the house. So we started looking about 3 or 4 months before we actually found our house. Started looking for the ideal place. Where could we buy, what blah blah blah, what were my needs, and of course I started reducing my expenses, because they look at your disposable income as well, and the percentage that is left at the end of the month once you have paid all your other credit, whatever things you have. At the time I didn't have a lot of credit. I didn't have any credit besides my credit card, in fact, because the car that I bought, my mom actually is the one who bought it and was paying for it every month. So all I did was basically give her the portion for the car at the time and help out with rent and that kind of thing, like any good black child should do if they're living at home. So oh wow, I really like this color. I'm like building it up, you guys. So eventually we got to a point where we liked 2 areas, Kuils River and Parklands in Cape Town, and we really thought the Parklands property that we liked, should I apply for it? It was a lot more, it was a bigger house, but traveling to where I worked, and the logistics around, like everything, location, we just could not move. And we were already living in Kuils River. The convenience that we had, we were used to the area, we knew the area very well. We were just like, no, let's stick to Kuils River and buying a house there. So we ended up buying the place there. Application took a little while. I bought a brand new property, brand new, off the shelf, literally just built, kind of new. The house is a 3-bedroom 2-bathroom duplex, so it's a double story that is semi-attached, in a safe and secure complex. And yeah, that's how I essentially bought that house. In terms of the application, it did not take long. In fact, it was approved on the 28th of November 2014, and we moved in on the 28th of January 2015. So it took exactly 8 weeks. And I think it's mainly because I did work at the bank and I did know a lot of the processes, and it just makes it easier if you have asked everything that you needed to ask and your application is squeaky clean. There's no going back and forth. So it really helped to have had somebody to assist me right through the process, so that when I do eventually, you know, put through that application, things go smoothly. So that's really how it happened for me on the property front. It's just really difficult for me, like, to explain all of this without going into the fuller details. But yeah, I really tried. I hope you guys totally understand the story, and why I did buy the house. A large part of me wishes that I knew what I know now instead of just rushing into buying it. Going into a 20-year loan is not, it's not something you want to decide for overnight. Yes, God was good then and God is still good now in terms of like providing, and me having a property, but it is not a cheap expense. I mean, I knew I would have to face things like paying for the rates, the municipal rates, the refuse, the sewage. Obviously that all comes in as one bill, and it comes in the form of, like, you know, your municipal City of Cape Town bill, and that's about 500 bucks really for an area that is similar to Kuils River. And I then also have to pay levies because I live in a secure complex, and we all have to pay levies. That is about 400 or 500 bucks as well at the end of the month, and those things need to be paid every single month. You like it or you don't like it, and if you don't pay, they'll send you to you know, the credit bureau or send lawyers your way. So it's a huge commitment. It sounds very glamorous, and I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you got a home, oh my gosh, you own a house. You have absolutely no idea that it's really difficult to maintain, and that's mainly because everything depends on you. Everything depends on your salary, and The bank, when they want their money, they don't laugh with you. They laugh with you while you're still buying. It's very, very nice when they're all saying, oh, congratulations, you're an owner of a property, oh my gosh, you know. It's fantastic. But come reality, you actually still need to pay for this house at the end of the month without those people's help. I spoke in my last Q&A talking about saving and having financial goals. This is key if you are somebody who's looking to buy a property, because things come up at any given time. You may have a plumbing issue and need a plumber. Like, how are you going to live without water? That's going to look at you. And if my mom decides to, you know, because my family's living there now, but if my mom decides to get another place at some point in time and we put a tenant in there, that's great because you get the income. But the downside of that is that it comes with a whole lot of other expenses. Like maintenance is solely on you, like it is right now. But now, you know, you can take your time. When there's a tenant, I remember when we were renting, when we had a plumbing issue, like our landlord needed to come fix things the next day, the very next day, because we could easily threaten to move out, you know. So yeah, it's not an easy task, and it's definitely something I say, if you want to do it having researched a lot about it before you jump into it, and do it with maturity. You can't do this because your friends are doing it. It's not one of those things in life. Your friends ain't gonna pay for it. I just want more depth in my eye here. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I really like that. Another way of cleaning around the eyes that I learned recently is cleaning up with your concealer. So making sure that there's a defined distinction between your brow bone and your eyeshadow. We're still going to blend that out with the eyeshadow brush, but you see my brow bone is popping now. So the cost of my house, for those of you who want to know, was 700,000, and that meant that in general I should have been paying about 7,000 at the time if prime was at 10%, but I think at the time prime was at 9.5%, I think, and because I was working at the bank I got 2.5% off. So you literally, if you are a bank employee and you are working, I think Standard Bank does the same, but Nedbank did that, to prime less 2.5%. So I've only paid 4,000 rand essentially every single month at the beginning, before the Nene Gates happened and all the controversy in our country happened that sort of hit our economy sideways literally and got us into a position where things are really, really bad right now. At the moment I'm paying 7,000 rand for my bond. So when you leave the bank, it reverts to prime. Unfortunately, you have to pay prime. So if that's 7,000 and that I'm paying every month, plus the $1,000 which goes to levies and rates, I'm looking at 8,000 rand every single month just to my bond. Again, if you are buying from a developer, things are much cheaper in the beginning. I mean, I didn't pay transfer duty, I didn't pay any transfer taxes, I didn't even pay for my bond registration amount, but that's God alone, because even the bank couldn't explain that. So any pre-purchase fees that are attached to buying a property, for me personally, were not there. They did not exist. The attorney could not explain what happened to them, and I was looking at a bill of 32,000 rand. I had prepared for that bill, and then when it came back, the letter from the attorney said the bank says you owe them 0. Obviously the developer, because it's a brand new property, there's no transfer of ownership. It's not coming from an individual going to another individual. It's coming from a developer going to an individual. There's no payment there. So that was that made it easier for me. What I wish I did back then though is utilize the money that I had saved to pay for the bond registration as a deposit, but your girl was so excited that I got a discount. So I just need to add something to my top lashes because they're looking a little dull without a liner. So yeah, now that I look back, I wish I had a better deposit, and I wish 3 years ago I was actually smart enough to pay in a little more every month than the stipulated installment amount. So every single month, as much as I'm paying 7,000, I wish I had paid as little as 7,200 you know, every single month. And at the time I was only paying 4,000. If I had just paid 4,100 or 4,200 every month, I would have at least cut out 2 or 3 years off my my bond term. And the reality of any house, if you are going to buy, the first 5 years you're basically paying interest, really. And I only started paying a little more in when I could. So whenever I can, I'm like, oh, let me just add $1,000 or 2,000 rand, which is actually on an amortization table. I know I'm getting technical, but I need to mention this. If you actually calculate it, it's actually better to pay in little bits of amounts every single month than to pay in lump sums every 3 or 4 months or so. It actually works out way better if I pay 200 rand a month versus 2,000 rand every 3 months over the term of the loan, that is. So yeah, I mean, I had all the acumen, I had all the knowledge, but I didn't really apply it. And you'd think for a finance and investment student, like, this would be my thing. I don't know. So now going forward, I've just become a lot smarter, and I'm utilizing my book knowledge to, you know, do the things that I'm supposed to have, I should have done back then. Yay, we fixed that situation over there. Now my contour looks like a proper contour. Let's hope it looks like a proper contour. Y'all will drag me in the comment section if it doesn't. For lips, I am going to be using my Essence Matte in the number 2. I've just removed the foundation that was on my lips. And now to line my lips. This is a little too matte for me, so I'm going to add gloss. For gloss, I'm going to be using my MAC Pearly Girl lip gloss. It gives my lips, oof, that's a bit too much, a pink tint. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so I'm gonna apply my highlighter. I got this new highlighter by LA Gold, the Luminous Glow. It's actually a luminous powder. And then just to be extra, I am going to be going in with my LA Gold Strobe Light Strobing powder, which I've already hit pan on, but this is my favorite highlighter. I love it. We're just gonna be a little extra. We want to beam. We want to beam today. Just spraying my Fix Plus, and you know I'm about to go ham, because you can never spray enough Fix Plus. I love how this has turned out. Not too bad for someone who's just experimented. Honeys, I hope you did enjoy this video. In the next video, I want you guys to really, you know, go ham in the comment section, asking specific questions so that we can delve into buying your first property, and make sure that the next video is jam-packed with the technical jargon and the specifics on how you can go about preparing yourself financially to buy a house, an investment property, hopefully. But if you have a similar story like mine, then you could always just ask away, and I'm more than happy to answer those questions in the form of a property video that is just full on technical. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, give it a massive thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think of my look. Let me take these off. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I know there's a few of you who keep watching my videos. I look at my stats all the time, and there's a couple of you guys who really love watching my video, keep coming for content, but you don't subscribe. Like, why? Just click that subscribe button and join the Yolz channel family. I love you guys so much nonetheless. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.